What's up, nerds? So, got you a little cool little video here. Check it out real quick before I explain to you what it is. Cool, basic, right? Yeah, just a thing breaking up, exploding. But just wanted to show you in the fastest way possible what this is doing. It's you got 4 points blown up this block based on a radius of a point object and just the force. And then you've got like little pieces breaking off and volume breaking based on velocity and cool shit like that. So a couple things I want to show you, not just the cool exploding dynamics part about it, but some control that I'm able to implement inside this rig. So as you can see, I've got 4 points, and each of them have the circle around it, which are instanced, and those create the radius value of these circles create a radius activating these fragments, which is cool because I'm using wire connectors. So alright, let me go through this as fast as I can so I don't just ramble. Alright, so here is my rig now, and I'm gonna build this from scratch. Let me turn that off. Okay, so if I select, come on, there we go. I got one circle, so as you can see, the radius value of this is creating a radius activation for the fragments, and it's all being controlled and connected. I'll show you how to do that first, but alright, let me start this from scratch. Okay, so I've got this box here. It's all fragmented into pieces with ray fire, or however else you want to do that. And okay, so what I want to do is, the goal is to pick some areas around here and have them explode out using just a type of force. Okay, so first I'm gonna throw in just some point objects. You can use whatever you want. Take one, I'm gonna copy that, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these 4 points are going to be the point of just a point of the origin of where they explode. All right. So the second thing I want to do is, let me freeze these. I'm going to create a circle here, create a circle, position it to the point, and I just hit Shift A. It's like a quick align thing. If you do not know, boom, it aligns. Shift A, cool. Okay, so, and then just parent that to the point, so wherever you move this, it goes with it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to instance these things. Instance. Alright, parent these bitches. Alright, cool. So they all got, woo, yeah. Alright, cool. Alright. So now I'm gonna use an animated object to activate these things. So it's basically when, oh, let me do it here. Point. Alright. I just change the color because I like to differentiate things. Alright, make it bigger. Cool. So now, top view. I'll just animate this thing kind of going through a little path here. Boop. So whatever. Okay, so this thing's going 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I want to do is when this object comes into proximity with this radius, it's going to activate a force that explodes, that pushes these frags within this radius out. And then also wherever these points are, it will also follow the radius of activation. So nothing crazy, just a cool little procedural control rig that works across the board with a lot of different things. Alright, so now let's go into the TP. Alright, so let's make some groups. SC shake collision, and we'll put one in there. Call that. This will be forces, and that is going to be. Let's start off with like frags. And this one, which is outside of shape collision, all it is a frag activators, which would be these things right here, and then this would be it's the activator, which is this thing right here. Cool. So oh, and we need a collision environment. That'll be the floor, which is this thing right here. Of course, actually, you know what? I think I have one in there. No, it's not in there. But anyway, the floor. Let's make the floor. You know what? Just make a box. And I have this thing like, oh yeah, it's good. Right. No, it's not. Underneath everything. Alright. Cool. I just got this for lighting and whatnot. So, alright. So that's the floor. Cool. So we got everything in shape collision. Okay, now let's go master dynamic. Create some stuff here. Okay, so this will be. I name this the minefield. You can name it whatever you want. I don't care. Start off with birth. This is gonna be. Remove that one. All right. Nope, didn't want to do that. Okay. Birth. Alright. Generator. Object to particle. name this frags, right? We're gonna just select the frags here. Yeah. Pick. Go to object and particle, instant shape, and put these two frags. Okay. So we have our fragments in a group. Cool. I'm just gonna hide the geometry there. Alright, so now it's got it in the TP rig, and they're just ticks. So just go to master dynamic. We want to do shell mesh. Uncheck this thing here and go to none. Okay, so this wasn't pushed. Do instant shape, object particle, and frags, and then boom. Change the color. Alright, cool. So now let's do no, I don't want that. Stupid brain. Another object of particles, and this is going to be for the frag activators, which is going to be helpers. These 4 nodes, or point objects, whatever. Cool, so select these, put them in frag activators. No, you don't need that. Well, do track at least. You don't need instant shape. Object to particle, that's if these are animated, at least you'll have TP be able to track the animation. Alright, so next one is, let's put just a, alright, so this is the activator, right? So we're going to put this guy in there, point him to activator, same thing. Make sure you definitely track this one because you have this animating. If you didn't have this on, if it was a none, you'd have TP creating this particle as just a static. It would not inherit the animation. FYI. So alright, let's make the floor. Object particle, floor. Select the floor. I can't select the floor. Why can't? Oh, that's right. This is on helpers. Boom. Floor. Object particle. Instant shape. Alright. Okay, now we would like to do activation, which is kind of cool. This is kind of like the whole point. Activation. Alright, we got another dynamic set, name it activation. I'm going to put another one in here, and I like to call it distance check. It's this my little, so I kind of DIST check. So this set basically looks for the area around each object. I don't know where that name came from. I just came up with it. So, all right, groups frags. So we want to detect in the frags group an area that these circles are creating. So frags, we want a distance node condition. We want a oh yeah, niche. We need a P search, right? And we need a group. Where is it? Group. Okay. So if particle go, let's see, particle P search, and nearest PID goes into position 1, position 2 goes into particle, and particle goes into particle. Turn the on this, output on this, and here's the radius. Oh, and this needs to be set to frag activators. Put the radius to a pretty high number. Okay. And guide this group to, oh, that's okay. So once, okay, so what we're doing is these frags are inside this group. What we want is to put the radius of the frags that are inside this radius into another group. They're not going to be moving, they're just activated before they move. So let's make another group called frags active. Cool. So we want to put the frags that get psearch is finding the these things, creating a radius around that, and putting them into frag active. I'm gonna put this to like purple. All right. So frags active. Shape, is that it? No. Actually, let's go to match dynamic. Turn edit on the fly off. Yeah. So right now, boom, it's making a nice radius around that. Okay. So real quick, what I want to do is connect. I want to connect the radius of these circles to this radius, so I don't have to just keep going back into this this dynamic set and changing that. So first thing is select one of the circles, hit Control 5, and you'll get the wire connector controls up. You want to go to Object, Radius. I'm going to give you this little thingy. Go to TP, click it again. Go to Dynamic Master, and we want to look for the distance node in the dynamic set. So Minefield, which is this dynamic set. Go to Activation, Distance Check, and this distance, which is this node right here. So, and do radius 2, and you get this pop up, and we want, here's the circle, and here's the distance node. So we want the circle to control the distance node. So hit this arrow right here, and then hit connect. Boom. So now, if you deselect this node, play with these values, this value, boom, you got it controlling that. And as you can see, if you click this, you can't adjust that, which is cool. So that's what we got, control on that. Alright, now let's create the actual activation between this object and the radius. Alright, so I'm actually going to do the same thing I did for these things. I'm just going to duplicate, shift click this set, duplicate it, rename it to activator. switch this group to frag active, which would be the purple ones, and we want the purple ones to activate and go into another group which has the actual explosion force when this thing touches. So this has to be the purple ones, the frag active. This group has to be the activator. So the purple ones that are active are searching for a radius around this thing, this group, and when they come in contact with each other, it will go inside of this group. Okay, so this radius, right now this radius is linked to this circle, so I like to I'll just delete it, get a nice clean one. So do conditions, distance, connect this to that, position 2 to particle, output to on, and there you go. So you got a clean one here. And then I'm just gonna make another circle, link it to this thing. Alright, so we got a circle here. Do the same thing we did, so hit Control 5, do object, the radius of this circle connected to the dynamic master, minefield, activation, activator, distance, radius 2. So this radius of this circle is connecting to this node, arrow, left to right. If you did it this way, this value is going to be controlling this circle. So if I do that, you can see, like, watch. Whoa, yeah, sweet. But we don't want that. We want it this way. Connect. So now we got, see, now we got the value here. Alright, so that is basically doing the same thing as these. So we want this to be around like that. And then this, you gotta make sure they go into, let's make this, let's name it boom. No, not boom. Let's do break. No, that's still weird. Do like frag fly. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Alright, put those like green. Alright, so now you can see it is not working. Oh, that's right. So this we gotta do frag fly. Boom, sweet. So now we know that when these come in contact, those green ones, you can have as much control as you want. So that's when we're gonna start to make the force come out. Sweet. Alright, so let's go into click my field, create another set, and this forces, right? We want to do one that's explode. This is the explode one, and then another one that's gravity, because we need gravity. Alright, so gravity, we want to do forces. Anything in forces is going to be affected by it. Let's do dynamics, force, helpers, 0.3, where is it? There it is. Direction, vector, particle, force, do like 150, something like that. I'll do -1, there we go, we got gravity. Alright, now the explode. Okay, so this is just a so we want to first have a force that throws these frags out. So it's just going to be a basic kind of spherical force that that surrounds each of these nodes. So kind of similar to this, but instead of a group, it's going to be like a force and whatever else. So let's kind of do the same thing. So here we're going to do a frag fly. So turn the gravity off real quick. Alright, these green ones need to get thrown out in the air, so which are in frag fly. That's what the green ones are. Frag fly. This group. Let's do a same thing. P search. Particle to that. And then we're gonna do a distance. Put this to there, position 1 to there, and then we're gonna make a dynamic force. Cool. Alright, so let me just stretch this out here. Put the particle into there. Now we need okay, so what I'm doing is the P search needs to get the group needs to be the frag activators. These wherever these things are, they need to be where the force field is. So we're going to point that to frag activators and increase the radius. There you go. Push that up real quick. Okay, now the direction, so this distance node signifies the direction of the force as well as the radius. So direction, put that into direction, and then what else do we need? Turn this on. Oh, and the position needs to be where the position is of each node. Otherwise, without this force would have no idea where the force would be. So basically, right now, without this string, it would be the force would be affected based off of this this object. So we need it to be based off the position of each of the frag activators. So that's why you just put that in there. Alright, let's turn this force up to like 100,000. Very little variation. Decay, do like 1,000. And then turn the type to sphere. And then I'm also going to add a spin. Where is it? Spin, and it's going to be the same thing. Put this particle to that, and that's it, right? Yeah. Turn this down to like, I don't know, 0.8 or something. Put a variation in there, and that's a good spin type value for this. Okay, so now let's see what we got. Boom, this thing just flies out of there. It's because there's no dynamics attached to it. As you can see, you can even like turn this down, and then we get, like, turn the force down just so you can see it. Like bam, bam, awesome, cool, sweet. Alright, I'm going to turn that back up. Okay. So one more thing is is what I wanted to do is just explode the second this object comes into this radius. Like right now what it's doing is the entire time it's inside this radius, it is emitting this force. So it's not stopping until it leaves, which I don't want. I just want it to just one initial explosion. To do that, that's why I have this on hidden. So you just do a condition node, do a particle age, right? So put that in there, and then the output needs to go into the on, and change it to enters group. So what this is going to do is, second it enters the group, it turns on and then turns off. So it's basically just like one frame. You can't really see it now because there is no dynamic engine driving these, so they're just flying out in space, but you'll see that. And then one more thing, I just want to add these, give these things mass. Make it like a like 10. Cool. So right now we got everything we need, right? So I'm gonna have one more, the cool one. It's the shape collision operators. Shape collision SC. Point this to the group to SC, deflector to floor. And now we got, cool, see, already got cool, sweet, awesome, wow, that's not what we want, because gravity is not. Alright, so that's pretty crazy powerful. Yeah, that's like insane. So I don't know why I put that so high. Maybe because I'm an idiot. Don't judge me. Take a 0 off of that. It's not bad. Ah, see, they're still spinning. Got it. So I forgot to put this into this. So what this is going to do is just make them spin for one frame, just so you get that little bit of variation, and then boom, they stop spinning, because you don't want them to keep spinning. Still crazy powerful, but I mean, what are you going to do? I know what you can do. You can add mass to these frags. So they don't have any, that's why they're just flying everywhere. So put a mass in there. Put this to like 15 or whatever. Oh yeah, check it. Boom, see, that's why I had a high value. I remembered, but I did not do a step before force. Let's add one more 0 back, because I was right and you were wrong. Boom, that's still way too high. Wow, I just made myself look like an idiot again. Put like a 50,000. One more time, and then we will continue on with our lesson. That is still pretty powerful. You know what? I'm just going to keep it like 1. Whatever. We'll get back to that. Anywho, so we got these biznatches here. Actually, let's just get this right. All right. No dicking around here. I want this to look right. Okay, it's kind of moving. these to like, let's do like a 20 grand. Alright, so I kind of cheated and paused this shiz and tried to figure out what was going on because I forgot. And what it was leave this value at, let's say, like 10,000, and this is about 450, right? And get the axis out of here and pump it into the direction output. And then another thing is too is you kind of tend to overlook this, or at least I do sometimes. But the mass when you're dealing with rigid bodies is pretty important when you need to get a type of effect. Like if for example, we're dealing with forces pushing out these frags, so you want to specify the mass and the weight of these rigid bodies. So size mass is important, needs to be checked, and the value is important. Before, I used to just kind of arbitrarily punch in a number and just kind of go with it. But what it really is important to get that type of look you want. So right now I've got a mass out connected to the frags, which are these red ones, the static ones. Let's put them at 1. And what I want to do is I want to make sure the green frag fly, the active ones, are a lot more heavier, a lot more dense than these, just to give it the look. It might not be physically accurate if you're dealing with, like, if you want to get technical and into details, but it still looks way better. Or it gives you the result you're looking for, at least. So I have this at like 50. You know, like I did 40 or 50, whatever. And what happens is it'll just look a lot better. Plus, you get more accurate intersections when you do that. So as you can see right now, these things are getting flown up, pushed up. It's still pretty strong, but you get the idea. So actually, let me just hide the floor. We'll just play blast that real quick. Active segment, boo boo boo. Okay, cool. Alright, stop and play. So cool. I mean, it's pretty strong, maybe too strong, but it's working. Let's go back, kind of tweak that a bit. Let's go into force, bump that down to like, let's see, like 8,500, right? This might be like 350, 320. Turn the spin up a bit. Alright, so and I would even like turn this mass down to like 35. Let's play blast that, see what it looks like. Alright, that. So that's kind of what we want. Maybe a little bit more. Just stuff getting thrown. It's cool. Alright. So we got a general. I'm just going to raise this up a little bit more. Maybe like 9,500. 350. Cool. We got that. Now we want to add some volume breaker based on velocity. Just break that stuff up even more. Where we go? Okay. Let's start by minefield. Let's create another dynamic set. First I'll turn this off because it slows everything down. And name this secondaries. Create dynamic set. Do this VB01 for volume breaker 1. Make another group to where it's going to be volume broken in forces. Name it VB01. So what we want to do is, when these things get thrown up in the air, when the green ones get thrown, based on the velocity, we want it to start a timer and just start to fracture over time, and then maybe even put those into another group, another volume breaker group. Okay, so we're going to start with frag fly. So then the green ones start here. We want these to volume break. Alright. So spread it out to a threshold. Unhide the velocity. Pop the threshold into the value. I'll do like a, I don't know, like a 3.5, 3.3. That's good. Alright, now go to your black boxes and go to, where is it? I think it's helpers, M3D, Machine 3D, which is Joe Scar's collection of black boxes, which usually ships with TP now. Do timer counter. Now what you can get rid of is these two, and I'm just alt right clicking, and these two, you don't really need those. All you need are these four. And real quick too, what this does is gives you a nice little black box setup. Now this is the only keyframed one. This is the fade in. So when it hits a velocity of 3, the particle will turn a timer on and run through these nodes into this one. And this is what turns on the volume breaker. So what we want to do is select the TP, go into your graph editor, and you have this curve that it comes with. I don't really know why this curve is like this, but delete the last key, select this, and make the value to a 1. Because we want 0 to 1, basically off and on. 0 is off, 1 is on. Alright, so first we want to alright, so let's add a volume breaker. Operators, volume breaker, volume break. Unhide the on, pump the fade it on, so this is what's turning the volume breaker on. Pump the particle into particle. Okay, cool. So again, one more time. Once it hits the green, gets in the green group, once they start flying up, they're going to hit a velocity of 3.35. When it hits that, it's going to start the timer. Over 99 frames, it's going to run through these nodes, which basically transfers that data into a type of value that this node can understand, which then turns on this. Alright, so now again I'm going to give this a mass. So whenever you're doing rigid bodies in TP, remember mass is important. Type that in there. Size of mass, check that out. Let's put this at like a 5 or something. Okay. So a couple things inside this here. First, I don't want, once this timer turns this volume breaker on, I don't want those pieces to be 100% broken. So instead of putting this to 100, I put this like 45%. So after these green ones get activated and this timer gets turned on, this volume breaker gets turned on, throws into this group. Hope you're following me. Color the center, and it's gonna over time it's gonna over time volume break those pieces up to 45%. And then one last thing is change this group to VBO1, which basically you want the volume broken pieces to go into one other group from this. Okay, cool. Hope I'm not losing you. I did have a glass of wine before this, so bear with me, because I feel pretty good. All right. So now what we should have, let's try to look at this. I'm gonna play blast this again. Ready, set. Oh wait, I gotta set the size in this stuff. So let's put this to like 10. Put this to about like 3,000, and that should be good. All right, now let's play blast it. See what it looks like. All right, see what this looks like. All right, cool. So they're already volume breaking, as you can see. It's probably, yeah, see, so the yellow ones, or orange, whatever, those are 45% volume breaking, which is cool. Now the video, this little thingy here I did here, I have them volume breaking into two different groups. So once it goes in the orange, then it goes into even smaller one, which takes a lot more sim time, but hey, it looks pretty awesome. So what I'm going to do is duplicate that, do O2, make this really fast. Duplicate that, make that O2, make this a different color, like blue. Alright. Now we're inside this set. Change this to volume breaker 01, because we want the 01 to then go into 02. Change this to 02. That's all you got to do. And then maybe like turn this down a bit, because you're getting pretty small. And maybe turn this down. Turn this down even more, just because you don't want all of them. Like 28%. There you go. And then turn this mask down a bit to like 1.5. And then that should be good. So let me play blast this with wireframe so you guys can see the groups. Boop. Wireframe. Alright, let's see what this is. Alright, cool. So, as you can see, purple going to green. The green is the frags affected by the force. The orange are the volume broken ones from the greens that are started over time. And then the blue ones are also the same thing, start over time from the orange ones. So it gets you nice looking debris. Alright. Next. So this is basically it. Right now I'm not too happy with the explosion look. It's a little weak. So what I'll do is throw, where is it? There it is. Force. So I'll just throw that up to like 15,000. 400. Decay. Cool. So this is basically it, right? I would just play blast again and see what it looks like. Well, first, let me turn off the secondaries. Play blast that, so I can see how the force looks. All right. That's still kind of crazy. You know what? I'm gonna turn the decay down because I think that's what's making it a little wacko. Alright. It's still a little uninteresting. So we turn that back up. 450. Turn that down. I'm actually going to turn this mask back up. Do like 55. And then, actually I think my gravity's a little too low too. So I'm going to do that to like 220. I'll try that. Alright, so this looks like... That's kind of okay. This piece is pretty big, so what I would do is I would go in there and fracture that more. This one right here flies out, and then add it more. But let's. I'm gonna do one more thing, and I think that'll. I'm actually gonna use this. Turn that down. Turn up a little bit more. All right, get more radius, and actually turn this down a bit. And then see what this looks like. Better view. There we go. Alright, alright, alright. No, that's not good. I don't like that. I need to fly up, so... Actually, no, let me do this. This is the kind of it's the process, man. It's like we'll tweak one thing, tweak another. So this is what I totally forgot about. Is the force is based off of a radius around these things. So if it's almost like they're kind of getting pushed outwards, because they're kind of above. As you can see, they're a little above the top of the objects. So if we just lower that down, we'll still get that radius, but then we'll get a better kind of upward motion, which I should have done before, but it's just how it goes. Totally forgot. Alright, let's try that. Alright. Boom. Exactly. Still a little strong, so now I can actually turn down the force a bit of this one right here. Flip that down like 10. Okay, so this is it. We're basically done. I just have to turn the secondaries back on, a volume breaker, sim it, and then we're good. So then we basically, then we'd be good. But there's one more thing I want to do is, so supervise, someone comes back and is like, don't like this, don't like that, it's too strong, it's too strong. I kind of get annoyed, not annoyed, I don't enjoy going back into, because I can have like 10 of these dynamic sets with forces. So instead of finding the specific one to go in there, what I want to do is I want to go into just the top level dynamic set, right? I want to go in here. I don't want to go into any other set and tweak values. I just want to go into here and tweak a certain number of values. So by doing that, if you don't know already, what I do is what I want first figure out what types of values you need to be able to control and art direct the whatever you're doing. So that would be for force, I need strength and decay 1, right? And then for spin, you want spin time, which is this thing right here. This is basically controls the speed, how fast it spins. So like if the higher the value, the slower it takes to spin per second, per frame. So I gotta unhide that, right? I can actually hide spin. So spin time, strength, and decay. So those are basically the only ones I need. So what I do is just grab strength, pipe it into this little input here, up in the corner, and it'll automatically give you a its own scalar value. As you can see, it's a scalar. Decay, same thing. Don't put it into the strength. Make sure you just you drag it into the empty purple area. Otherwise, you're going to get
this connected to the strength value, which you do not want. So you want its own output. Same thing with spin time. Careful so you don't connect it to one of these values. You want it to do the empty purple area. There you go. Boom. So right now if you go outside of that dynamic set, which is forces, now this right here has 3 inputs. So do the same thing. Strength, pipe it in there. Decay, orange, purple, empty spot. Did I say orange before? I don't know. I can't remember. I'm tired and I'm drunk. I'm not really drunk. I'm just kidding. But I feel good. There you go. So you got 3 more inputs. Now go outside of that and the minefield. So now your forces have 3 inputs. So now you can create some floats, right? Float 1, float 2, float 3. Strength, decay, spin time. And all you do is rename strength, decay, and spin. I'm just gonna name that spin to keep it simple. Alright, now you gotta just make sure you have the right value. So 10,000, right? And 150. And this is let's do 0.8. So go back here. 10,000, 150, 0.8. 0.8. So I'm going to turn off shape collision. Let me just organize this real quick. It's down more. Alright, there you go. So here's your notes. Turn off shape collision so I can scrub this thing. You guys can see it. And secondaries. Right? And gravity. Boom. Right? So these are exploding out. So if I go into these nodes here, first turn on this so I can see it in real time. Boom. So you got this controlling that decay and then spin time. So there you go. You got 3 values outside of the entire tree, the entire rig, whatever, and you never have to go back into explode and go into this. It's all connected. And I think I do the same thing with yeah, and that's it really. I mean, if you wanted to do with the volume breaker or these values, you could do that. Just all pipe it into this right here. So that's another easy way. But generally, boom. I turn this back on. There you go. So there you go. Now this took quite a long time to sim, so I'm just going to go back to my original scene, which is over here. This is basically the same setup, and I'll show you. Here is the original setup I made. So here it is, and then here it is cached. Boom. So this is what it looks like. Really nice. This one's pretty violent. So, but there you go. So it is generally based off of you're making an explosion type effect based on just forces, which you have so much control over, and you have control over an object-oriented viewport radius. So that's cool with wire stuff. So alright, here is it. Hope you guys liked it. Sorry it's a little too long of a little walkthrough tutorial thing. It is somewhat of a process, so I'll try to make them shorter next time. But yeah, thanks a lot.